this morning when I got up, this side of my hair was still curly. So this side was wavy, but this side was just more wavy. So I just did some more curling. But so it's weird. I think I'm gonna stay doing this red wine vinegar thing. Apple cider vinegar thing for a bit. Um, I went and I was trying to look it up, like how long to expect before your hair kind of gets in balance. And a lot of people use it just as a rinse. Like they wash their hair with regular shampoo or some sort of chemicals or whatever. And then they use it as a rinse, which, but there's other people who are bypassing the shampoo. And that's what I'm trying to do, is bypass the shampoo. And it is, one of the things I've seen so much with the people is it makes your hair smoother. It takes away the fuzziness. I think it helps hold in the curl or something. And but the only thing I would say is it just feels weird. It feels like what I would think of like just dirty hair, and it does get super shiny. And so I don't know. I'm just going to keep doing it for a while and see how it does, because it improves your health in a lot of different ways. Yesterday, I made another serum. I had all of this cantaloupe peel and I had a grapefruit, which I pressed that and just drank the juice just to get that vitamin C or whatever. And so I took the grapefruit, the cantaloupe, and yesterday I also made pumpkin. I had a pumpkin. And so I cooked it to make puree because I had put canned pumpkin on my list. And I was like, well, that's kind of stupid. Why would I get canned pumpkin if I have a pumpkin? I should just cook that pumpkin. So I looked it up to see what you do. And not only do you cook the pumpkin, but then you wash the seeds and you cook the seeds and you put these spices on them. Oh my God, they're so good. So I did that too. Yesterday I was cooking so much stuff. I made a really good soup. I made this face serum. So I had cut this cantaloupe, which I still got to eat more. Everything is so weird. Like all the food is so weird. And I started thinking, I wonder if we're starting to notice more weird taste if we've been doing these cleanses and getting the parasites out. Although I still think parasites just stay in you, even when you try and get them out. I keep hearing people talk about their itchy butt and stuff. And I wouldn't say mine's itchy, but it feels like this tingling. And I keep thinking, what is this? Is this what people are saying is itchy? Do all of a sudden I have a whole bunch of pinworms and they're not coming out? And I hear these people doing all these cleanses and some of the parasites start fighting back. Like, I don't know. It's so freaky. And it's like you have to stay on top of it because they lay eggs and oh my gosh. And then you got to use other ones because then you can't get these ones out because they start going crazy. Because I didn't have all of this tingling before. But I'm having so many weird sensations. I've been up since 1:30. But and Stella was snoring like a bitch, man. Oh, God, she was snoring hard. I gave her the last 6 Benadryl because yesterday she was, she's a regular whiny. It hasn't stopped raining and it's cold as fuck. But I really have noticed the fire does, like, warm me to the bone. So it is a lot better for arthritis, that natural heat, rather than this artificial wire hell thing. And it clogs up your ears more. Oh, I don't even know. So anyways, when she was just, her regular whiny, so I fed her. She never knows. She just whines and cries all fucking day. And so then while I was standing there, saw this barking outside, and I looked out the window, and this lady who's always out walking, and she's always on a cane. I don't know if she had her cane, but she always had her cane in this little tiny, like, lasso opso. And she just shuffles, she does her walk every day, walking her dogs, and carries her little green bag. And so all of a sudden these dogs ran up and just started barking, jumping, and her dog started going crazy, and she had to pick it up and have them to walk. And so I went out there and I was like, and I knew Stella would come. Like, I'm not stupid. I knew she would come as soon as I alerted that there was something I was watching. And then I yelled out to the lady, "Are you okay?" And because my driveway is pretty far down, like I'm not right on the street. And so I don't even think she heard me. And so she could have heard, like, yelling, but I don't think she could hear me. And then those dogs were going crazy and still ran out there. And so she's barking and running. And I tried to get the dogs to come in my fence. They wouldn't. It was some sort of beagle and some sort of, I think they were both kind of like beagles or beagle mix. And the weirdest bark. And then the people that are always mad, they never came out and didn't come out. So then I started thinking, man, I haven't even seen that guy walking his dog. I wonder, because I can't even, I mean, this pounding and stuff is like right in their backyard. And this guy can't even handle it if you walk across his grass. If a dog goes and gets in his yard, he freaks the fuck out. So, and then these two dogs, and I don't know if they were dropped, if they got out, and they had no collar, but Stella doesn't wear a collar, but she's chipped. And, but she's always in her thing. But if she got out, she doesn't just walk around with her harness and her collar on. So that doesn't necessarily mean they were dumped. But I was out there, I tried to open my gate to have them come in, and they were like, no. And then they just kept doing this weird sound. It was horrific. And so I was like, okay, I'll just walk back, come on. I kept trying to get Stella to come back to calm down the situation at that point. But she already was doing her running at them. And they were running, and oh my God, they were hyper wild. Like beagles jumping up in the air and stuff. And so then when she came in, oh my God, it turned into hell. I kept saying, that is what happens when you run. I keep trying to tell you. And so I always think that she gets what I'm saying. I just think that they don't have the same, I think it takes a lot of times for them to develop like a knowing. They don't have like the same kind of memory recall or something. I don't know, because I just watch how she processes and stuff, and she does catch on. And some dogs catch on real quick and don't even need to be shown something, just spy, like watch you do something, and then to see you how you open the gate and you leave, then they go open it the same way. Like they don't need you to show them. It just all depends on what they're paying attention to, just like humans, I mean, they are a soul having an experience just like we are. So anyways, so she was miserable. Oh my God. And she was I mean, when I tried to go to bed, she's pacing. It was horrible. And I couldn't, it was just horrible. And I'm tired all these days. I mean, I can see like, you can easily make it on a limited amount of sleep for a long period of time and be really functioning. Like I don't think it affects my mood or anything. And if I get too tired and my eyes start burning, I'll just lay down and shut them for a bit. But it is just weird. And then yesterday's too, I didn't even finish the story when I got up yesterday at 2:30. And then I went and let her out and all that stuff. And then I came back out and I saw the clock on the stove and it said 3:30. I was like, what? It's already been an hour? What in the hell is going on? And then I had to remember, it's daylight savings time. I was like, oh, damn it. And so then, even watching the light thing, it didn't make that much difference. This whole thing is so stupid. It just is to fuck with our rhythms. They don't want us to be any kind of a natural rhythm or anything. Everything they do is just disruptive to our cycles. And it's like right as we're getting into hibernation, hey, let's flip this around, because yesterday my day was jacked up. Like I couldn't believe it. Like all day long. I couldn't believe it. It felt like there was at least 2 days in the morning. Every time I'd look up and it'd been like 10 minutes. I was like, what in the hell? By 2:30, when I thought it was like time to go to bed, I was like, oh my God, it is only 2:30? What in the hell is going on? It was the weirdest thing. I just think I was already kind of losing some sort of attachment. And I think it probably is just a natural thing that would happen. I don't go to work. I don't go to school. I don't go to groups. I don't, interact. I have this is like my set schedule, like every morning, get up, try and look and see what's going on anywhere, see if you can find anything out, go in, talk about like what's going on in my day, what's going on, what I see on the planet, and stuff like that. And then, when I see certain things, then it always gives me different things to talk about too, like all different kinds of situations. I still see like these people on, they're just defending themselves, and like the one thing I would say, I think, for me, and I don't even mean this in the most, ego or anything like that, because I know there's other people like me who are watching me at this point. Like it's the other people who haven't quite caught on yet. They're not watching people like me. So, I know the people watching me also, see things before other people, like that they can see through a lot of the stuff what's going on, and so I don't mean it in some sort of ego maniac, like I'm better than somebody. It's just we're all at different levels on different things. Maybe somebody else who's way ahead of me on something else. Just like I said, I mean, maybe the whole Jesus story, maybe I'm just way behind. I'm still this pagan, crazy witch person. I don't know. So, anyways, I would say the thing that I see that is kind of a positive is how many people are going through the same processes at the same time. And, and how all of these different groups are fracturing, and it's like that all of the emotions, everything is just coming to the surface. People can't hold it in. And even yesterday, this was my daughter, she called, and this was like a couple of conversations, but so she was supposed to come, and then she couldn't come, right, because she was sick. And so I told her to do the potato, cut a potato, because you can do a slice, like a thick slice, and you put them on the bottom of your foot. You put a sock on it if you're going to just be laying there, and you put a tight sock, and then you cut up some onions and put them in a bowl in the room. And the potato will absorb the bacteria out of you. It absorbs it down in the potato. The onion absorbs it in the room. So it absorbs all of the bacteria and stuff that can be making you sick. I don't know about all the toxins and everything that it absorbs, but both things, I've seen them like turn black. I keep doing the onions because when I cut up onion, if I don't use it all, and then any of the layers on the outside, I just put them in a bowl and put them in the room, especially because Stella's always going out and bringing in all this stuff, and all of these different toxins, and there's no telling what all she's bringing in, like these worms and shit. Like I was even thinking, I swear to God, I can see when people go out and interact all the time and think they're sick all the time. But now, it's just the flu, and that's killing everybody. So run in and get one of these. It's like, oh my God, I don't know what it takes for people. But that's what I said. It seems like a lot of people are catching on at the same time. But yesterday, when I get, like, people can't hold in their tongue or whatever. So yesterday, when my daughter, so she didn't come. She wasn't feeling good. And then she went somewhere. I don't know. And then yesterday she's telling me, oh, I shouldn't have done that. Now I'm so sick. I'm so much worse. Every day she just tells me she's so much worse. She's so much worse. Well, are you taking care of yourself? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? Well, no, I've been busy. So last night, yesterday, she was saying something about she was so much worse. And I said, well, did you do the onion? Did you do the potato? Well, that doesn't sound comfortable. I was just like, then stay sick. And then I didn't say another thing. I was like, it's uncomfortable, but being sick, that's so comfortable. Okay, stay sick, make your choice. And so then she kind of got defensive and said some stuff or whatever. And I was just like, but it seemed like, she got the point. Okay, well, I'll try it or whatever. It's like, yeah, if you want to feel better, try stuff. You don't just run down and get one of these and then just go full bore, like, got nothing to worry about. And that's what, another thing, what they do, the people who are, it's like, it's more convenient, that's a lot better than getting sick. Well, motherfucking hell, if you're not the ones who are keep getting sick, I would really like a study right now with all these people dropping dead. Somebody, please keep track, keep tally. How many have and how many haven't? I think we'd all love to know. At the point when, we get to the other side of this, which I really hope you're right about the 11-9. I swear to God, I think that last year, I think that they did the 11 that they said, but there's something about Delta or something in Army talk, like, I don't even know what all those army talk means, but something about, like, even if it was talked about last year, it's supposed to be this year or something. I don't know. I just hope so. I don't see how it can keep going. Like, when I see how people are acting and reacting and stuff like that. Another thing that my daughter, she was like, I don't know, she's got all these kids that keep coming over and stuff, and then somebody had to go home, and she didn't do it, and then I don't even know how to ride the bus or something, but they had ridden the bus there. So you think that's okay? You think I should go chase the bus down and pick them up? I was like, I can't even anymore. Like, there's sick people everywhere, and you just go out, like, doesn't matter. Like, I go do whatever. And then it's not like, I mean, it's one thing and you have to go to work. But then on your off time, like, there's people sick and dying all around. But I've got to get to, or I got to get to happy hour. I got to get to all these people. Like, going out in restaurants and stuff. I can't even, like, all of this stuff is coming so much to the surface, and it's so fucking obvious, and it's so fucking loud. And I think all of it is so much. Like, this morning when I got up, I opened the door and to get some wood, and there was a plane going over. It was so loud, it sounded like it's coming down my driveway. And it is like, okay, there's got to be something with the firmament. It's coming down lower. There's got to be something about the collapsing of the sky. This Narubu thing. This, I can't even tell you. I'm horrible with names, but what I was talking to this morning, how many videos there are of people seeing ships in the sky. I was just talking all day yesterday to somebody on TikTok, and they are talking about there's these big black clouds out that make no sense. They don't stay less black or anything. And we were talking about those being ships. There are so many people who are seeing beings just everywhere in their yards. Like, there's beings all around us to help us. And then it goes back to the other thing about the event. Like, if there's all these ships and stuff, is it time? Is everybody going to see the truth? Is that going to be, the big awakening and seeing the truth when all the ships come down? Because whatever they're going to do, they're going to try and do something to us. And but there is the universe, like the cosmic situation. So, and then there's the sleeping people's reaction to things. So we've got all these different things happening. Like, we got too many things on the stove all at once, So no matter what, shit is going to be going down all over the place. And then, but I just don't know, because it's always trying to, like, break it down. Like, okay, so I feel like the firmament is coming closer. Everything's getting louder. Even people's personality, everything is just getting louder and louder. Stella's attitude is getting louder. Everything is just becoming more intense. And so if it's going down, and then we have this Narubu thing that is so close to us, and then people are saying that is the Anunnaki, and then we've got ships everywhere, and people are seeing them all over the place and seeing them in their yards, and some people feel like the ones are just completely watching them, and that's a true thing too. Like, people have all these connections with these other beings that they just forgot about because they're so focused on this reality. Which I just saw this other girl. I don't know if I'm totally even skipping around and forgetting. I'll try and remember if I've finished everything. But this other girl, and she was talking about timelines and stuff, and she explained it like what I'm always trying to say. She said that her guides had just told her, and that they had said, so timelines are all of your soul's opportunities. So if your soul is trying to understand, to me, I'm always in the first part, because there was a abrupt change. It was totally like walking through a door in my own, when I was in the part of learning lessons, and then going into the part of like, there's it's like, I swear to God, it's like chapters. And it's where your consciousness is focused. Like, and you can't skip the chapters and have the one make sense. So you have to go through the chapters to get to the one to make sense. So you can't just jump in and be in the timeline of loving yourself unless you've gone through the chapters and you love yourself, because it's internal. Like, you can't make yourself love yourself to be in a different chapter. In order to feel it, know it, understand it, you have to go through the process. And so that is, so you can stay on a timeline. Like, when I went off that timeline, like all of the years of learning how to love myself by people around me not loving me, not treating me right, and not, and and I'm no shame to anybody else, because everybody is living in their own pain and suffering, and they're so twisted up in themselves. I don't know that so many people just do things to other people intentionally to hurt them. I think that people mostly just react from a painful place within themselves. And so they're just focused on their own pain, and everybody feels kind of victimized. We're leaving this victimization mental society kind of thing and moving into empowerment. So it's like you have to, like, it's like the coin. We've been staring at one side of the coin, and it's going to flip to the other side. And that is exactly like the pole shift. It is this whole thing of the whole shift in our attitude. It's everything going the other direction. And you can see why, something big has to happen to promote that in a lot of people, because they're just full war going, on a locomotive full speed ahead into a brick wall, and they don't even see it yet. So it's going to be and they're all going to be flying towards the front of it, falling down, getting up like, what's happening? But that is, metaphorically what they have. I mean, it has to go down like that. I can't even tell you. It's kind of trippy too. Like, in my conversations with my own guides and stuff, and the reality of what they show me, especially like some of the stuff, what I hear people saying and reacting to, and they are so serious. Like, I just saw this one. And there's so many of these, and they're so serious, and I feel so evil to be laughing when they are so serious and they're so upset. But like the Fetterman thing, like, if people can't see, well, they can't see. Like, I mean, they can't see. That's the thing. They can't see. But that it's all the absurdity. It's the absurdity that is coming out to wake us up, to show us, and so it just does get so much more absurd. But get this guy out there who had a stroke. I don't know. He's more bumbling, apparently, or says more weird stuff than even Joe. And then they're saying that they're going to have him be the person. And there's a whole thing with Oz and Oprah, and like, there's all sorts of weird stuff going on with this election. But it's the absurdity. It's the absurdity. But when I see people talking about it, and they're so serious and they're so upset, and I mean it, people, we got to do something about this. And that they're saying that it's okay, we got to support the disabled people. So we need them to run our country. That's where we're at. Anyway, it doesn't matter, because they're puppets. So, whatever comes out there, they don't care. But anyways, it is, they're just showing their hand, and the people are frustrated because they can't do anything about it. But when I see stuff like that, and I don't get all tore up, like a lot of people get all tore up about the stuff that's going on and what's got to go down, and are very scared. And I'm not saying I'm not, nervous about anything. It is nerve-wracking. Like, we no matter what, anybody who transitions out, you still have that, like, ooh, that second of like going, and that's hanging over all of our heads. So of course it is nerve-wracking. Any of us can be taken out at any second. But that is part of the game. It's just part of the game. What can you get done while you're in the game? Can you remember who you are? How much can you use your time in the game? How much can you make your time work for you in the game? How much can you expand yourself in the game, and all that stuff? Like, I see, how I can see the game from the soul's perspective. But when I look at that stuff and then knowing like about evil, what people think of as evil is the same side of the coin of it's just as how you're focused on it. So like I can see all this bad stuff has to happen. I can see these people like who think all of this is so real and are just freaking out, and then I can laugh. Well, I don't know, I mean, I do laugh, and but it is not out of being mean. That is a thing, even though I'll feel like, God, I'm so mean. But that is, like I just really know in my heart, like this has to go down this way for change. There's no, I mean, everybody has the opportunity to change beforehand, but they have the lack of motivation. So the universe has to motivate them, like a cattle prod to the ass is about to go down. And so then that is, but it's for a good reason, because it's going to bring in a good thing, even though the thing that's got to go down is going to be horrible and hard. And, a lot of people are going to really be pushed to the brink to try and get through whatever's to come. And so I for sure think shit is going to start tomorrow. It's kind of weird too, because when that girl had told me about do that war dance thing, and so she's like, oh, let's do make a date or whatever. I said, we should do it on election day. And I thought election day was only a couple days from then. I kept thinking it was 11/3, but it's 11/8. And so then she said, yeah, let's do it. And then she's already putting it on Instagram and stuff. And I was like, okay, we're doing it. And so then, and then just thinking about that and thinking about the energy and stuff like that, and then start hearing about this moon alignment thing that's going on, and there's just more stuff. Like I really do think that there is going to be, I do think that doing a war dance that night is going to feel like you've really accomplished something. I think it is. I think we're gonna see stuff go down, and it's gonna feel like, whoa, did we do that? So I don't know. I do think that there is gonna be. I think that is gonna start shit. I mean, when you see how serious these people are, like they seriously think this is gonna save us, save the world, and then plus on top of those videos. The people get out there, this is so important, blah, and all this stuff. Then you have these other people who are showing blatantly about the cheating and stuff. Like it's gonna go down. Like, and there was some, I don't know. I think that a lot of religious people are sharing this, and this woman, I think she's in a church or something, and she stands up, and I don't know, she's some sort of prophet or something. I mean, she says the same stuff as like all the people who see this stuff are all kind of saying the same thing. And so so to me, I don't know. I mean, she could be a prophet, but it also is stuff that I think that a lot of people know, but the religious people look at it from a different perspective, whatever. So anyways, she said that, this thing that's going to happen on election day, that is going to be super bad. It's going to go super crazy. There's going to be so much cheating, but just hold on, because it's going to switch everything, and it's going to put Trump back in and all that stuff. So, and so many people are sharing it, like, because they really, really are believing that they don't see the age of Aquarius coming. They see rapture in Armageddon and stuff like that. So they don't see, like, even when I try and talk or tell my mom or something, well, I know you want to think that. I know you want to think things are going to get better. And I get it all the time in my comments and stuff. Like, people just think that this is the end. And, that's all of their own journey. I mean, I know I'm here to talk about the future and hope and healing, and that there is a huge life outside of this system, and we're moving into that. And that people who think like they can't, like that seems too hard, that is propaganda that's been sold to you. It's gonna be so much easier than going to a job to just take care of your own self. Especially once they give us the resources and stuff back. And that is supposed, I think that religious lady was saying something about that too, about all of it going back to the people. So that'll all go once the shit starts going down. Whatever they do, they make their move. And the other side comes in and the energy goes up and everybody wakes up and everything goes, if that's going to be spaceship, like, I don't know if it's going to be the sky thing or something. Because I always kept thinking it would be the big event thing would happen. Everybody wake up and start healing. And then that was going to cause, then the space people would come, the alien, whatever. They're just, it's multi-dimensions. It's not outer space and they're way out there. No, they're just right all around us anyways. But if they are going to be seen right then, like right in the middle of all the chaos, right when people are like burning down the cities, and maybe, that is going to be what's going to stop it. Or maybe they're going to wait until that calms down and then they're going to come. And then they're going to take, I don't know. It's just going by the different QHHT things that you hear of what people have experienced in that future understanding or whatever. Because there was so much similarity. But so anyways, I don't know how all the pieces fit together. I just know that we're about to have an abrupt change and it's going to be horrible. And I feel like an evil devil when I laugh about people being so serious about it, because I just know this is going to be beautiful. And I know people just like myself, nobody wants to think about, how they're going to be transition out. Is something that terrified me as a child when they started telling. It's so crazy too. Let's think about that. From the time we're children, they start terrorizing us, telling us, you're going to die. You're going to die. Your parents are going to die. Everyone's going to die. And it's like, oh my God, how do we die? Is it going to hurt? So, I don't know. There's so much fucking mind fuckery that goes on here. And also, and I was thinking about, it was something about, it's just more of the mind fuckery, more of the just bullshit. Like I just have so many things that are so full inside of my head, but it's all stuff that is, God, I am so wheezy. It is all stuff. It really feels like, that is another thing too that I was thinking about this morning. This dense feeling, because that is why I woke up, was my shoulder was hurting so bad. I couldn't sleep. It was like, oh my God. And even when I tried to turn to the other side, and I don't even think I finished the whole story. But anyways, I had 6 or 7 Benadryl left. So I decided I was going to drug Stella last night. I was like, fuck, I'm just going to have to. I'm never going to get any sleep. And so I gave her those. And so she was conked out and snoring in there. And then I woke up and my shoulder was killing me. And then I had to pee. So I get up, I go pee, go look. And it's like 1:50. I'm like, oh, motherfucker. And so then I go back in. Well, she's awake now. I swear I can barely, I think I can turn barely in the bed. And she'd wake up out of it snoring. And so then she started in with her crying and whining and crap like that. And then when I was getting up for the past couple of days, I noticed how bad my joints have been just hurting so bad. And then I saw other people on TikTok talking about it. And so it's like, okay, so it's definitely something that they're putting in something or spraying on us, whatever, some kind of thing that is causing inflammation or pain. I don't know. I mean, they're trying to kill us. So, and then when I opened the door and that plane sounded so low, and I was like, maybe it's the pressure. Maybe the ferment closing in is causing pressure on the joints or something. Like, and where people are always talking about like those solar flash, people talk about like these, the CMEs or whatever that come in, these solar flashes from the sun. But it's so weird because the sun it's not like way out somewhere. Like, would the sun even be under the firmament? Like, how big would the firmament be? Like, how many of these planets, like, and how do they move? Like, are they in the firmament? Are they outside the firmament? Can we just see directly through it? Because when rainbow has a reflection, it shows the roundness. So how would the sun reflect through that? Why wouldn't the sun just reflect back on itself if it's outside of the dome? And then if the sun's inside the dome, then it's definitely not that far. And then when I had seen somebody talking about the sun is the center of the universe. And then when you see all these people who are the UFO people always talking about their ships constantly coming out of the sun. And I don't think the sun is hot. And this other sun that they use is fake sun. That's hot as fuck. The other sun is warm, but I don't, it could be like the energy, the warmth of the energy of the love that comes and emits out of the sun. But then, it's blocked. And it has so much to do with what you are focused on, what you are thinking about. And I had started noticing that so much while I've been here, that it is totally what I'm focusing on. It is the reality. That is your whole entire reality, whatever it is you're focused on at that time. And there is nothing else. And the way that you stay not in the present moment is focusing on something that isn't right in that present moment. But when you're in the present moment, it's a standalone moment. It is, each one is its own thing. And so every time you focus on one, it is its own experience, its own focus, depending on how broad you have in your scope of that. If it makes sense what I'm saying. So, and for me, when I went from the timelines of being taught to love myself into learning, because in the middle part, in the tunnel to get to the next part, it was all of this, like, it's like removing the layers of yourself and going in deeper, and then figuring out really what you wear best. Who are you? And it's a never-ending thing. Even yesterday, I was saying something to my daughter. I had finished one of the blankets and I sent it to her, and she said, "Oh, that's so cute." And but to me, I kept being like, it's funny because when you make something and you send it, then it's like, "Oh, but do you really like it? Do you want a different color? I could make a different color," because then, they're not going out and buying it, and it's you and you're putting all this stuff into it. And so I said, "Well, I hope you really like it. You're not just saying that." She goes, "Does that even make sense? Why would I just say that?" Well, for one thing, she's a nice person, and she would. But all these different things, like, I won't even go through the whole list. There was a whole bunch of different things. So there's all this stuff that is always being brought up that you get to go in and look at, like, so you can see. And any reaction that I would have had, then, I could have become defensive or something. I just said, "Good point." And then I went through some other explanations, like, it's weird because, like, I do feel like there is a lot more of myself in it. And, I do have more writing on it than just some blanket I went down and bought, at the Kmart and shipped it out or something, bought off Amazon, so anyways. And then when you like something so much, you really want other people to like it too. So it's just like, kind of like that. But, I see totally how, the arguments kind of start, and whatever anybody reacts to me, I'm not going to react back. I'm not even saying she was reacting. I mean, I think she probably really felt like that. I'm sure there's a component to, I'm annoying to her, my needs, like, get your needs out of here. Who cares? Like, you know what I mean? Like, because that's a child who wants to focus on themselves, so they don't want to care about yours. Like, quit. That is one thing that my one daughter who's not speaking to me can't even stand. at all. If I have any kind of needs or, oh yeah, that's a huge trigger to her. And then when all of those people, when she did that TikTok and all those people kept wanting to talk about me and talk about me, and so, oh my gosh, she was so triggered. And well, basically everybody in my family was very triggered on that when that happened. I think the last time I saw that, that was like 7.1 or 7.2 million people had seen that video. And it was something like, I think it was like 1 million likes or something. And that, and but all the comments and stuff when people were going in and saying stuff, oh my gosh, how they were, yeah, everybody in my whole family got so triggered by that. And I think, boy, they don't even know what's to come. Whew, I do. So anyways, that's all, you know, we'll see. We'll see how things go. But I don't know. My guides are really consistent and persistent on some things, what they show me, and what they're always trying to tell me, and in the perceptions that they give me, and how they want me to see things and what they want me to talk about. And I know it is so much about, you know, there has to be some people who come into the crowd who see something different to give the other people hope, you know, and it is dependent on each person's own soul or our own intention if they can even have hope, because it is so truly, some people hear somebody, you know, like I said, somebody can hear a prophet and somebody else hears a crazy person. So it is always in the receiver, and the receiver is on a timeline, it's on an experience, it's on a focus, so that it can experience and learn from that focus. And so then it goes through that one. And so, like in that honeycomb kind of thing, where you have every reality is there touching every other reality, like every essence of every choice that I ever would have made, and every possibility has all gone out to have its own experience. But me, I can look at any of those experiences and go in and focus on that experience. And so in this, I'm focused on this experience. So as my soul, like every possibility that's there is so trippy too when you think about the contract thing. Because I think the contract, I don't think that we go down and sit and write out contracts with everything. I think it's more like universal law. It's kind of like you go in to play a part, you've got to complete your part, you know? And so I think there's, and there isn't like a really going into a physical thing. It is all just like a dream. Even though it seems like this is so real, and we go to sleep and we get up and we go and do this and we do that and all these things that we can do in this dream, but it's so far beyond what we understand of how consciousness and stuff. And I think, you know, that the consciousness has developed so far beyond what we can even understand, how that we can go and focus on this dream, but there's millions of dreams all around us, and it all depends on which one that we're focused on. But as all this shift is occurring, as what I keep noticing, like you have to stay focused on the timeline you want, and there's interference, and I don't know how much every single person's interference is. I think that depending on your mission or whatever, every single person, this is one thing too that I think people don't understand. There isn't just like one or two people have a purpose, one or two people have a mission. Every single person that is alive, every single being, everything that is alive has a mission, has a purpose. And this is also to kind of teach that about to people, because people are so lost and, you know, have a lack of purpose, have a lack of thinking why they're even alive. And every single experience has a purpose. And so you're always there to experience and learn through this purposeful, intentional learning, you know. And so there is you know, so I have a bunch of things about that. So in the timeline thing, so in that, it's so crazy too, because like everything is so multi-level. Like it is so much like that hand thing. So when you try and talk about like this part of it, it still is attached to this part, is attached to this part, is attached to this part. It's because there's all these different levels of every single thing, even in this awakening and in your soul and in your timelines and all of that. Because then you have the age, then you have the place, then you have the souls, and like there's a whole spectrum of thing. You know, just like I said, like there's some shit, man, going down over there in the Crane of You and the Russia thing. You know, they already have got this. What we kept saying we were worried about them doing here, EMP or EMF or whatever that electrical explosion thing that they are going to do, and then call it a nuke. Well, they already did that over there, knocked out power and stuff. So, but that's what I said, you know, the whole time. There's going to be certain places that are going to have way worse experiences. But looking at it from the soul's perspective, then I understand all those souls came in together into that timeline, into that experience to go through that. And as long as they're focused on that experience, that is the experience that they're going to experience because they want to learn from it. And so all of those different groups of people, there's no accident to where you are and what you're going to go through. It's all planned by you. There is no like, this could happen, this maybe could happen, this might happen. No, what's going to happen is set. There is no, and it's weird because I just see so much of that. Like, well, if I would have got to that job interview first, I would have got that job. The person who got the job is the person who was always going to have the job, is the person who was there for that experience for that job. If that's not the job you got, that's not the experience you were supposed to have. You're supposed to have a different one. You're supposed to be looking at your experience. So that one didn't work out. You just move on to the next one. Like, direct me. Where do I need to go? What are you guys trying to show me? Where am I supposed to be at this point? You know, when you're trying to tune in to the driver of the vehicle and stop, you know, being so focused on the scenery. That is, you know, is kind of like what is that? It is like a dog in the window of a car, you know, going, and that is kind of what humans are like. They're just like looking at everything, you know, like and trying to please other people, like that's their focus. And so the focus has to, like, your vehicle is going to keep going the way it's supposed to go. You don't have control over it. And you drive yourself crazy thinking that you do. And that is, and for them to keep some of this stuff hidden from people, that is so on purpose. The frustration, if everything is destined, like, there is no saving yourself. Like, you cannot stop whatever day you're going to be taken out. There is no stopping. There's no changing it. There's no like, well, if I wear my seatbelt, if I put one of these, all of that stuff that people think. There is none of that. There's nothing you can do to stop the inevitable. Fate and destiny plays a role. It's their role. Like, it is, it's the role you come to play. It's already set. There is no shifting and changing it. And maybe if I do this, this will happen. No, it's always going to happen the way it's going to happen. And everybody who it's going to happen with, that's who it's going to happen with. There's like, you have no control over it. And so it is so much more about just relaxing into it. But then about the timeline thing. So you can be on a timeline that you're learning lessons. Once you click in and you realize the lesson, then it puts you on then you focus on another timeline. Then you're focused on another state of being because you caught on, you learned it. But it was always going to happen that way, because I think that everything from, if it is jumping timelines, it feels very fluid to me. It feels like it just melds right into the next one. But it feels like I definitely went through a door, something happened, I felt something change. And the biggest one was when I started this thing. But that was a huge, huge fear for me to get over. public speaking, and that speaking live tomorrow is going to be a huge one for me to get over. Because I've always been too much in my head. What is everybody else thinking? Oh, am I doing this wrong? Am I doing that wrong? Like you get so focused on yourself that you can't see or think anything else, because you're just so consumed with what you think other people think of you. It is paralyzing in life. And so many people live like that. I lived like that for most of my life. And I'm not going to say most of my life, really, because I think it's just getting started. I think that life is about to just get started. And it's going to be so much better. Like, I don't even think I'm halfway through. I think once we start with the technology, with the medical, is going to be just so much is going to change. The fact that we don't have to die like that we can stay alive. Then you got to be like, okay, so what's this whole thing about death? Was it they just wanted to kill us because then they make money off of coffins and now Soylent Green and stuff? Like, it was I think, to just, I think if one of the big things is, as long as that we have to face death, we're easily controlled. Because when you think that that you can stop it, that there's something you can do, see, they can keep you running in circles. So I think that was part of it. But we're going to go into this other part where we don't die. We don't have to die. And then plus this thing that rejuvenates your cells. And then plus just moving into a higher vibration. I saw somebody, one of these spiritual video things, talking about the earth had decided as a conscious being it was tired of being abused and wanted to move into a higher state of consciousness. And so it's moving into that higher state of consciousness. And the humans, everything that wants to be a part of that will be a part of it. Kind of like it looks like to me, kind of even with the little COVID thing, with the little thing with all the things coming off, that they're always showing. Kind of, when I was seeing about that yesterday, seeing that's kind of what we're kind of like barnacles of a ship. We're kind of like growths off of the earth or something. Like we're a part of it, but we're not a part of it. We're like scabs or something. But anyways, we can heal and we can become better. And then we can stay on into this next thing. But there is, I don't know how long the transition is going to take, but there won't be all the negative and the people who screw people over and hateful and bullies and all that. Either they will learn by their ways and their mistakes when this shit is shown to them, or they will just transition out of the game. They won't go forward into it. And you have to want to be a survivor and be, ready and willing to be a sovereign, to take care of yourself, to know that you can and have abilities and stuff. And there's so many people, I think, that are so cut off from their ancestry. I fucking just saw this video of this girl. It was a couple of girls in a car pulling up to a drive-through to get food and ice cream. And the person who comes on to ask them was a computer. It was a fucking computer. And they're videoing it. And it's like, what? I don't know what people think. Like, where we're headed. Like, this world is what? This artificial, fake-ass world. And for people to think like it is funny or cute or whatever, like, how many jobs do you think there's going to be? Do you think they care? Do you know what's going on in China? Do you know how many places now are flying Chinese flags at the same height as the American flag on their building? Somebody just got footage of a hospital. And China has opened up police stations in our country. So, and when you see what's going on over there, I mean, people they chase people down with drones. They'll kill people on the street. They can monitor things. And then we've got all these lights everywhere. I hope that those lights are putting in because they think that they can see through the aliens or something. I don't know. But I think it has something to do with the stuff that they've put in our blood. And something they're going to activate, and then they're going to be able to see. Because, you know, if it was that simple for us to see, we would already be seeing it as we drove through. Like, it's activating something, because I've seen those lights flash, but I don't see, you know, like people all of a sudden turn like a certain color. So I don't know. But whatever it is going to be that's going to go down, it's going to be, you know, it's going to be intense. But I think it's going to be mostly intense for the people who are asleep, because they don't see it coming. They're going to be, you know, it's going to be unexpected, and they're going to be freaking out. And so anyways, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm even making any sense at all. But I do think that I think stuff's going to start tomorrow. For sure. There's just way too many things that they are, everything is just becoming so explosive. Like, I swear, it's just like watching it. Yeah, you see this group saying this group saying that. It's all like the showdown tomorrow, the cheaters against the believers, you know? It's like, oh, this is going to be intense. And it's going to be intense in certain places, way more intense. Like, wherever this Fetterman is, like, I don't know what place that is. I imagine that's going to have some intense, crazy shit's going to go on there. There's going to be a few races that is going to be intense in some cities, I think. And that's what they want. They want to keep distracting us and keep us fighting. And you know, they don't care. They just want to. But this, I think, is going to be, more is going to go on. More is going to happen. Once they make their move, I think that everything is going to start going. The banks will go and all that. So we'll see. That's my biggest thing looking forward to, is the banks going down. Once they go down, I know people are going to freak the fuck out. But, oh my gosh. Being released from all of the debt, and then to be able to, I know for sure I'm going to go get a little farm, and I'm going to put fences. I'm going to get a little house. I'm going to put a barn. And I told Stella I'm going to make her own little bedroom out at the barn. I'm going to get some more dogs so she has a little pack. And then I'm going to have my barn is going to be like my art center. You know, I can just go out and make things and do things. I want to I want to learn how to do pottery and stained glass. Those are the things I really want to. I don't see how people think like that their life is boring, or that there's nothing to do, or retirement is boring. Like, there's so much to do. There's so much to learn. There's so much to create. And there was another thing too. Oh, because I was doing something this morning, and I was like, there's so many things, and I'll just keep doing it until I can get good at it. Just like the biscotti. I'm making some good biscotti now. Like, and for how much, like, there's so many things that I have been cooking, and you just keep doing it if something doesn't turn out. Just like with the blankets, when I started doing the crocheting, oh my gosh, there was a lot that was just, it's hard to get all your stitches to be really the same and stuff the whole time, especially when you can't see. But, you know, you just got to keep doing it, whatever it is. And one thing too is, I think it was a video I saw somebody saying something, but it was like, you know, anybody can do anything. It just takes practice. Even people who think like only certain people can draw. Draw is a hand-eye coordination. Anybody can go sit down, and you go, and every single day you sit and find something in the room and try and draw it every single day, and keep track of your drawings. Like, do it in a spiral, and every day draw the same thing, and you will see after a certain amount, you will be impressed with your stuff. And then you start looking up stuff about shading and how to put shading and give it more life. And then sometimes, though, a really cool style is the thick outlines and stuff is kind of like a cartoonish. There's so many different styles and things that you can start going into and learning. And, I think most people have a great artist living inside of them. They just don't ever feel like that they could do that. Like they don't feel talented, and so they just shut that side of themselves off. And then they go in and they start doing it, and it's like, dang, I've seen so many people do that. And so I always think everybody needs to find the artist inside of themselves and the creative side. But I'm excited to, I'm just excited for the future. I'm just, this whole part is tedious. And then I do get nervous over, like, am I just really excited for what's to come? But am I going to have to go through a lot of loss right now? I hope not. Really, really hope not. And when I told my daughter yesterday, I was like, oh my God, you guys just keep going out. And then I mean, there's all these people being kidnapped nonstop, and y'all are just going around like it's no big deal. I was like, I just can't even anymore. I mean, y'all are just weirding me out, man. Like, we are in the middle of a fucking war takeover. Like, we have been taken over. They're putting their damn flags up, people. And you just want to go out to dinner, and then to think, like, there's so many people just going out to dinner and then complaining, like, it's weird. It's weird. Like, how cut off are you from the real world, from real reality? You just live in your own little, like, you're still living in their own little bubble, and then the world's falling apart around you, and you just want to keep complaining about it's not satisfactory. Like, it's weird. I'm really weirded out about that kind of stuff. So anyways, how much stuff I just keep talking. And I just saw this other person talking about, like, all this negativity that's purging out, and don't talk about negative. But that's the thing, is what is negative to one person isn't negative to another person. We all have, but it's how you look at things. It's how you feel about things, and if, some people could see it as, like, it's super negative to be frustrated about all of the stuff going on, and seeing, how people live and look at life and stuff. It is, I don't know, it's been so surprising to me. I just didn't even realize at all. So, I don't know, that can be negative to some people. It's positive to me, because now I'm seeing the truth, and it so much more makes sense about things. So I don't feel negative. I feel like that I'm looking at more of the positives, like all the good stuff that's coming from this, all of the yucky stuff that's being purged out. And and it is sad that there is some people who won't be able to do all their healing and get there. But also, this isn't the end. This isn't real. So they can always come back in. It isn't like, that we're going to be gone and they're going to be gone and everybody's gone and nobody can come. So everything is just, it's just a dream. It's just a dream. That's all it is. So anyways, I'm going to tomorrow, I wish I could go tomorrow and get the stuff, and I don't get paid till Wednesday. So Wednesday, I want to try and go and get groceries and stuff. I want to get some more flour. I got to get some more sugar, because especially if you don't know, like, is this going to be like a couple weeks we're locked down? That's what I keep always hearing. And every time I go get this stuff, it's like you have to have a ton of it stocked up, and I don't want to do a whole huge stock up. But then also they've told me, like, even if it goes down, if it goes down today and, you only have enough sugar to make one more batch of kombucha, just don't stress out. Then that should tell you that you don't have anything to worry about. And we won't go past that time or something. That's the kind of stuff that they tell me is, however it goes, that's the way it's supposed to go. So don't stress out about it. If you don't have everything and shit goes down, you'll be fine. And so that's kind of what I go by. But my intention is Wednesday to go out and get some more supplies. And, with whatever they're doing with the weather here, there can be washed out roads. And then the election, there's no telling. I mean, I don't know. I would assume a lot of people want Inslee out, but I don't even know if we're voting on him. I know we are on Patty Murray. And what weirds me out about that is she went in when my kids were small. My one daughter just turned 30. It's like, these people seriously get in there and they never fucking leave. And they just stay in there controlling our lives and covering up their own crimes. We need them all out. We need all these motherfuckers out. And they're all going down. They are all going out. And I just saw a video of Aaron Carter talking. And I mean, the people who are his age range, you know, his fans or whatever, people who know who he is and like him. I mean, he's very young to me. So, like, I know who he is, but I don't know who he is. And so all these different videos are showing. And so right beforehand, he said they're going to kill him. And that he was asking people to give money on a GoFundMe because they had done all this stuff to his money, and he is speaking out against his brother as a pedo who takes people against their will, and as his family's gone against him, the manager, all these people. And I was like, so Aaron's coming out against Nick, and the family killed Aaron to cover it up or something. So I don't know. I mean, this stuff's just going to keep on coming. Horrible, horrible stuff. It's just going to keep on flooding our world. You know, we are being bombarded and flooded with the truth, and it's ugly, and it has been such a corrupt world. And, you know, and people who try and speak out, they are taken down and killed, and people who are the criminals are always protected. It's the way it's been going. Yesterday, as movie kept popping up on YouTube, Devil's Knot, and so I decided to watch it. I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I didn't remember what it was about. And then once I started watching, I was like, oh, dang, this is about those boys. And so I started watching. I haven't finished it. I've only seen like half of it. It just was getting me way too pissed. Because once you know the truth and you go back and watch stuff, it's way, way different. Man, it's way different. I mean, it was one thing when they were like pinning it on those boys. I always thought they pinned it on those boys. But then when you see how they work about how to try and get everybody to turn on them and call them devil worshippers, and then how they scapegoated those boys, and just the way that those kids were found, I was like, I bet you that those kids were taken in a van and taken somewhere and done whatever was going to be done, because every single city has these weirdo groups, and then and it's like an internet of weirdo groups that are all together, and they do rituals on certain nights and stuff. It's fucking weird. And so then they took him, did whatever, and then because everybody's looking for him for a few days, so then it's like, okay, tie him up, throw him in the water, gets rid of all the evidence, throw him out there where they haven't searched yet, and then pull him out. And then when people are outraged, just find some scapegoats to blame it on. I think, especially as you have, in that case, there was a black guy who was all covered in blood, seen at a place he went in to try and wash off or something. He was probably the one hired to go dump them. Because that's what these rich people do. They just hire poor people to do their dirty work, and poor people are desperate for whatever they're desperate for, food, shelter, whatever, drugs, that they will do whatever. So, and that's what we have going on. I mean, that's so much on the surface. Like when you got people selling their kids for but you definitely have people who go dump them and stuff. Like there's some crazy fucking Reddit stories that I don't even go into that and hear them. I'll just hear them randomly, someone sharing them. But stuff that went on, because the island wasn't the only place. They had several meeting places, and staff that worked there had to do stuff like that. And so that kind of stuff, and there's whistleblowers, and going and whistleblowing against the most crooked people in the world is as dangerous as a game. You know, they take you out over and over and over. They'll kill everybody. They'll kill every person that you know. Like, these people are just, they're only out to protect themselves, and they don't give a shit about us. And then I don't think that they take it real serious, because they know it's a fucking dream. And as long as they can keep themselves alive in the dream, then they just don't have to face anything else. But there's just, Man, it's so weird when you think about like the dream and how it goes into like this whole physical kind of representation to experience. I don't know, it trips me out. So anyways, there's a lot of shit going down. So that's my plan, and I will come and talk. I think tomorrow we'll probably have power, but that can be another thing too. When shit starts getting heated, that they just take down the power tomorrow. Maybe there'll be something that will go down that they'll try and stop the election. Like, I don't know. Like, I think things are definitely going to be heating up tomorrow. I think tomorrow is going to be, like, if we go through this whole week and nothing happens, I will be so surprised. I think a lot of people will be surprised. I think that, and the moon and the stars are in alignment. I think everything is showing us that this is the time that something is going to go on. And I see so many people who are so uncomfortable and awkward saying like, I feel like something's about to go on. Like, this is so weird. I just feel it, like something really bad is about to happen. So, and it is going to be really bad for some people, you know. We just got to wait and see. And then, just meet back up when it's over with. I'll come back as long as I can, as long as, I mean, who knows? I mean, they could take down TikTok today. They could take down YouTube. Like, anything can happen at any time. So, we just got to just see what goes on and stay strong and just know, like, this is the hard part we got to get through. And then everything is going to start improving. So just stay strong, and I will do the same. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.